Bills fans are holding their breaths this morning. My name is Joe Dolan, and this is the Fantasy Points Daily Lineup on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022.
It's time for the FantasyPoints.com Daily Lineup. Staying on top of the latest news and updates around the NFL. Rise and shine, folks. We're taking the field. Here's your host, FantasyPoints.com's Joe Dolan.
Apologies for being a little late today. Our producer Ben, there was a diaper issue with his little one. Things happen. I guess is the lesson here. Anyway, I hope Josh Allen can be in our quarterback one spot this weekend going forward. ESPN's Chris Mortensen reported on Monday that Allen is being evaluated for an elbow injury to his ulnar collateral ligament and the related nerves. That is per a source of Chris Mortensen's. Now, Allen was contacted on his throwing elbow on the final drive of Buffalo's loss to the Jets and was clearly bothered by the injury, though he did uncork a pass of 70 air yards just 2 plays later, which per Next Gen Stats is the longest pass of the last 6 years. And Coach Sean McDermott told reporters that he hopes to know more on Tuesday. That would be today. And Allen, of course, did miss 4 games as a rookie with a UCL injury, and it's possible this is a similar ailment, and it's also possible that it's really nothing to worry about at all. There are a wide range of potential outcomes here, and I'll probably have more to share tomorrow morning, but I will just throw this out there. In our staff Discord this morning, our Dr. Edwin Porras did say it's possible that he could even play through a full tear of the UCL. He would just need rehab. Let's hope it doesn't get to that point, but we are indeed waiting with bated breath on Josh Allen news. In our first running back spot, we have the Lions' DeAndre Swift, in theory, in effect. After Swift's return to the lineup in Week 8, Lions coach Dan Campbell told reporters that he feared he pushed Swift too hard in his return from ankle and shoulder injuries. Swift had 10 touches against the Dolphins and played a 55% snap share in Week 8. Swift then told reporters last week that he might not be 100% for the rest of the season. Well, those comments turned out to be prescient. Swift played just 10 snaps in Week 9's win over the Packers, running twice for 10 yards and adding 3 catches for 40 yards. He played fewer snaps than Justin Jackson and ran fewer routes than Jamal Williams. So, in essence, a guy who looked like a hammer RB1 and a league-winning type of player after Week 1 is now the running back 3 on his own team. We'll see if his role grows in the near future as he rehabs a little bit more, but the fact that he's playing through it does not give me the happiest of feelings. Swift needs to score to come through for fantasy, it seems. Cordero Patterson is back to fill our second running back spot. Patterson returned from a 4-week injured reserve stint following a knee scope, and he made an immediate impact for the run-heavy Falcons, rushing for 2 touchdowns and 44 yards on 13 carries, while catching his only target for 9 yards as well against the Chargers. Now, he also had a 38-yard rushing touchdown called back, but soon made up for it, eventually getting his second touchdown by absolutely flattening Chargers linebacker Drew Tranquill. If you have not seen this Cordero Patterson touchdown run, go look it up. It's amazing. He tranquilized him. The backfield was a 3-way split between Patterson, Tyler Algier, and Caleb Huntley, but it's clear that Patterson is the guy to have here going forward. He saw 4 out of the 5 goal line carries. Huntley, by the way, saw the other one, and punched in 2 of them. So we would imagine that's going to continue going forward. Patterson is a back-end RB1 the rest of the way with a favorable schedule that includes New Orleans and Arizona in the fantasy playoffs. In our first wide receiver spot, we likely will not have Romeo Doubs this week and potentially longer. A game with the Lions' exploitable secondary was an awesome spot for Doubs to blow up. And indeed, he caught a pass on 100% of his snaps played against Detroit in Week 9. Unfortunately, it was only 1 snap. He hauled in an 18-yard reception on Green Bay's first play of the day, got popped, and needed to be helped off the field with what was called an ankle injury. Doubs was carted to the locker room, where he was later spotted in a walking boot and on crutches. Our Dr. Edwin Porras believed on Sunday it was a classic high ankle sprain, which Ian Rappaport confirmed on Monday. Now, it will obviously sideline Dobbs for a couple of weeks and could potentially require an IR stint. Dobbs was really starting to come on and earn the trust of Aaron Rodgers, so this is just another brutal blow for a Packers team that might have suffered enough of them to keep them on the canvas. Our second wide receiver spot belongs to Kadarius Toney. The Chiefs activated and played their new weapon. Look at that. Ben got a picture of him, even though he's only played one game there. The Chiefs activated and played their new weapon in Week 9's overtime win over the Titans, and Toney caught a pass on the first play from scrimmage. He then proceeded to play on only 8 more snaps of the 101 the Chiefs ran, getting one more target during that time. Of course, the Chiefs ran 101 plays, and he still saw more targets than Marquez Valdes-Scantling. We, as fantasy managers, should be cautiously optimistic, as Toney was never expected to have a massive role out of the gate anyway. Now, Andy Reid is one of the most creative play callers in the NFL, and he surely will have to devise interesting ways for Toney to get on the field over the second half of the season. So make sure he's still on your bench. He's a worthwhile stash here. And this has not been a receiving core that's really been consistent. They are looking for somebody to produce outside of Travis Kelce and Juju Smith-Schuster. Toney's got a chance to do that. He shouldn't be in your lineup yet, but he's a really good bench stash. And in our flex spot, we have a quarterback who is really figuring it out. Remember when Justin Fields couldn't complete more than 8 passes in each of his first 3 games of the season? Well, his early season struggles are a distant memory at the halfway point of the season after he set an NFL regular season rushing record with 178 yards in a single game for a quarterback, besting Michael Vick's previous best of 173. He completed 17 of 28 passes for 123 yards and 3 touchdowns. Again, the guy's not out there throwing it around like Peyton Manning, but he's using his legs effectively. And Fields, of course, adding the 178 yards rushing and a touchdown for 42.7 fantasy points in their 3-point loss to the Dolphins. It was the best game of his career from a fantasy perspective. Fields is averaging 79.1 rushing yards per game over his last 7 contests, running for 47 yards in each of them. And his fantasy points have risen in every game during that stretch. Now, he's also reached 11-plus fantasy points as a passer in 5 straight games, which has helped him to 17-plus fantasy points in each of those contests. Now, Fields should have a safe floor moving forward since he's regularly running, even after a slow start, and he's unlocked a massive ceiling as well. Fields has the chance to keep the momentum going as a big-time quarterback 1 for the next 2 weeks in good matchups with the Lions and Falcons. Look, we'll give him a whole lot of credit. This was a guy who was playing as the worst quarterback in football over the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. And since then, he's figured something out. The coaching staff has figured something out, and it's really beginning to work in Chicago. I'm Joe. This has been the Fantasy Points Daily Lineup for November 8th, 2022. Use code Lineup22 to subscribe to fantasypoints.com. Get an extra 10% off. By the way, this is a reminder to like this channel, subscribe to the Fantasy Points YouTube channel, leave a comment. All that stuff helps us. And you reach out to me in our subscriber Discord after you subscribe to the website, and I'll be happy to help you with your questions. Thanks, everybody, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.